An oath ceremony like no other, Donald Trump's shocking moment left the world stunned. What happened behind the scenes will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about politics. The inauguration of Donald Trump as the 45th President of the United States was an event the world had been eagerly awaiting. But beyond the grand spectacle and formalities, there were shocking moments that the public never got to see. What happened behind the scenes of his oath ceremony? What went down before he stepped into the spotlight? And what unexpected incidents left everyone stunned? In this video, we're diving deep into the untold story of Donald Trump's oath ceremony, from tense backstage moments to surprising revelations that weren't shown on TV. You won't believe what happened next, because some of the most jaw-dropping events occurred when the cameras weren't rolling. Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking truth that will leave you speechless. The days leading up to Donald Trump's oath ceremony were filled with anticipation, high stakes, and behind-the-scenes tension. Behind the public celebrations and media frenzy, a team of handlers, security personnel, and staff were working around the clock to make sure everything went off without a hitch. But what many didn't see were the internal struggles and last-minute changes that caused significant stress for the organizers. The pressure was mounting as Trump's team scrambled to finalize details, from the security measures to the arrangements for VIPs attending the ceremony. On the morning of the event, the mood was a mixture of excitement and nervousness. A carefully planned, meticulously crafted ceremony was unfolding, but not everything was going according to plan. The tension was palpable as final touches were made to the stage and last-minute briefings were held. From a wardrobe malfunction to unexpected technical issues, things weren't as smooth as they appeared. Behind closed doors, Trump's team had to react quickly and with precision. But the most shocking thing? No one, not even the most seasoned political veterans, could predict what would unfold when Donald Trump stepped out onto that stage. Just hours before the official start of Donald Trump's highly anticipated oath ceremony, something unexpected happened behind the scenes that set the tone for the entire day. As the crowd began to fill the venue and cameras were set up to capture every moment, an incident occurred that left organizers, staff, and even Trump's closest advisors stunned. The surprise came when a highly unexpected technical glitch disrupted the audio system moments before the ceremony was to begin. The sound system, responsible for amplifying Trump's speech and announcements, suddenly malfunctioned. The issue was not just a minor glitch. It was a full-blown failure, one that could have jeopardized the entire event. The sound crew was caught off guard, scrambling to fix the problem while the clock was ticking down. The air was thick with tension as Trump's team attempted to resolve the issue without drawing attention to it. However, this wasn't the only issue they had to deal with. At the same time, a member of the security detail suffered a minor medical emergency, which added even more stress to the situation. Panic briefly set in as people rushed to manage the multiple crises happening simultaneously. No one, especially the media and the millions of viewers at home, knew the magnitude of the chaos unfolding just moments before the ceremony. As time continued to tick away, Trump's inner circle struggled to manage these mounting pressures. Some questioned whether the ceremony could go forward on schedule. Would this technical and security crisis cause a delay? Would the ceremony be tarnished by these unforeseen issues? Behind the scenes, those closest to Trump worked tirelessly to keep everything under control. Meanwhile, onlookers and VIPs in attendance began to feel the tension, with rumors starting to spread about what was really happening. This unforeseen disruption would go on to set the stage for the dramatic events that followed. The stakes had been raised. What started as a minor setback soon snowballed into something much bigger, causing an undeniable ripple effect that would impact the entire event. The question on everyone's mind now: how would Trump and his team respond to this first shock of the day? Would they rise to the occasion, or would this be the moment that the ceremony began to unravel? As the clock continued to tick down to Donald Trump's oath ceremony, behind the scenes, the tension was palpable. What seemed like a smooth political event on the outside was actually a storm of behind-the-scenes drama, power plays, and high-stakes decisions unfolding out of the public eye. The political maneuvering, often unseen by the public, was as intense as the spotlight itself. One of the most gripping aspects of this behind-the-scenes drama was the political battle brewing among Trump's closest allies. A key figure in Trump's camp, an influential senator, was publicly at odds with another high-ranking official in the administration. Their differences, which had been simmering for weeks, boiled over just hours before the ceremony. Tensions between them were no secret. But with so much riding on this event, their ongoing rivalry reached a boiling point behind the scenes. The senator accused the official of undermining key policies, while the official claimed that the senator was seeking to hijack the ceremony for personal political gain. Their verbal clash was heated, and staffers had to step in to keep them from turning the situation into an all-out confrontation. In the midst of the drama, Trump's chief advisors were busy trying to maintain a delicate balance between managing the expectations of various factions within the party and keeping the event's optics intact. With such a large audience and global attention, even the smallest misstep could lead to a political nightmare. For the Trump administration, this was a day that demanded perfection. The balancing act was tricky, keeping both the political base and the critical pundits satisfied, all while navigating the inherent chaos of such an important public event. In addition to the political drama unfolding between key figures, there was also a growing sense of unease among Trump's team about the looming media scrutiny. Some team members were nervous about how the press would interpret every detail, knowing that even a single mistake could be magnified by the relentless media. The stakes were incredibly high, with the eyes of the world trained on the event. The political tension in the air was thick, with everyone involved feeling the weight of history bearing down on them. As Trump and his staff prepared for the ceremony, they couldn't ignore the pressure of trying to deliver the perfect image. The political infighting, the unexpected glitches, and the media frenzy all contributed to a feeling of chaos that permeated the room. No one was entirely sure what to expect next. The political drama unfolding backstage was both thrilling and unnerving. The looming question remained, would the ceremony go as planned, or would these tensions boil over into something much more explosive? As the moment of the oath ceremony approached, an electric atmosphere charged the air. It was a historic event, one that would be remembered for years to come. But as the world watched with bated breath, something unexpected and utterly shocking unfolded before the eyes of millions. A single moment during the ceremony would shake the foundation of the event and redefine its legacy. It all started with a disruption, just as Donald Trump was preparing to take the oath of office. The normally smooth and scripted moments of such a ceremony took an unexpected turn when a key figure involved in the proceedings, someone who had been a central part of the planning, suddenly and dramatically walked off the stage. The crowd gasped as security and staff members scrambled to contain the situation. At first, no one could understand why this person had left so abruptly, especially during such a crucial moment. Was it a protest? A personal issue? No one knew for sure, but it was immediately clear that the carefully choreographed ceremony had hit a snag. Speculation began to spread like wildfire. Had there been a disagreement in the final moments? Was this a message being sent from within the team? The media outlets buzzed with rumors, adding to the growing uncertainty. What followed was equally shocking. With the ceremony now on the verge of chaos, another unexpected event occurred. Trump's longtime ally and a major political figure had been scheduled to give a speech of support, but the individual's speech took a dramatic turn. Instead of offering the anticipated congratulatory remarks, the speaker publicly made an impassioned statement about the state of the nation, directly challenging some of Trump's previous policy decisions. The crowd was left stunned. The speech quickly became the center of attention, overshadowing the ceremony itself. For the Trump team, this was an explosive moment they never saw coming. The situation had completely spiraled out of control. There were whispered conversations backstage, frantic attempts to control the narrative, and a race against time to salvage what remained of the planned proceedings. Was this a deliberate act of defiance, or a genuine expression of disagreement? The public was left to wonder. But perhaps the most shocking twist of all came when, just moments before the oath was to be taken, a text message was leaked from an anonymous source within Trump's inner circle. The message contained highly sensitive information about internal disagreements, with some individuals questioning Trump's readiness for the position. The leak, although brief, sent shockwaves through the room. The speculation, the whispers, and the rumors now had real substance. Could the person taking the oath truly lead the country with the kind of unity and strength that was needed in such a volatile time? Despite the chaos that had unfolded during these tense moments, the ceremony eventually proceeded, albeit with a much more strained atmosphere. The shocking events, from the sudden walk-off to the speech of dissent, had left the room divided, unsure of how the day would end. The media had caught on to every twist and turn, eager to report on each new revelation as it unfolded. Behind the scenes, Trump's staff worked overtime to put out the fires, trying to reframe the situation and keep the attention on the moment of the oath-taking itself. But the damage had been done. The shocking moments during the ceremony had left their mark. The narrative of this event was no longer one of smooth transitions and celebration, but one of turmoil, division, and controversy. The aftermath of this shocking moment would ripple across the nation, leaving everyone questioning the true strength and unity of the new administration. As the ceremony concluded, one thing was clear. The world had witnessed something far beyond what anyone had expected, and the fallout would continue to unfold in the days and weeks ahead. After the stunning and tumultuous events of the ceremony, the air was thick with tension backstage. The private conversations that followed were intense and full of emotion, as those closest to Donald Trump navigated the unexpected fallout. Behind closed doors, some were visibly shaken, others furious, and a few remained eerily calm, trying to analyze the situation logically. It was clear that the chaos during the ceremony had caused deep rifts and raised difficult questions about the administration's ability to unite under pressure. Trump's inner circle, typically known for their strategic thinking and tight cohesion, were now divided. Those who had supported him throughout the campaign were rattled by the public dissent that had emerged during the ceremony. They questioned whether the public backlash would affect their political standing, and whether the cracks within the team would have lasting consequences on the new administration. In one particular conversation, Trump and a key advisor were seen in an intense discussion. The advisor, visibly frustrated, questioned the handling of the ceremony and whether certain figures had been allowed too much freedom to voice their dissent. The advisor's frustration was palpable, demanding a change in approach for the next steps. It was clear that there were differences in opinion about how to address the situation and what needed to be done to regain control of the narrative. The conversation was filled with a sense of urgency and a desire to take swift action. Meanwhile, another group of aides and allies was meeting in a separate room, grappling with the aftermath. They reviewed the media coverage, dissecting every headline and commentary. What was meant to be a triumphant moment had turned into a political crisis. There were heated debates about how to spin the events, whether to focus on the disruption or try to highlight the strength and resilience of the president-elect despite the odds. It was a battle to control the message, with different factions in the room fighting to push their own agenda. Some allies of Trump were pushing for a more aggressive response, calling for a counteroffensive against the media and those who had criticized the ceremony. They argued that the show of division was a testament to the administration's strength. After all, a little internal strife was common in politics. However, there were others who advocated for a more measured approach, suggesting that a more diplomatic tone would be necessary to calm the storm and restore confidence in the team. Behind the scenes, Melania Trump's response to the events also became a point of conversation. She had, by this point, been noticeably silent in the public discourse, and the private discussions quickly turned to her role in the fallout. Some members of the team speculated that her absence from the public eye might have been a strategic move, but others wondered whether she was disappointed by her husband's comments and the public display of discord. There were whispers about her personal reaction, and whether she felt compelled to distance herself from the unfolding situation. The private conversations in the aftermath of the ceremony were a blend of strategizing, hand-wringing, and finger-pointing. No one seemed to have a clear answer on how to heal the divisions that had been exposed. There was a palpable sense of frustration, confusion, and doubt hanging in the air. Each private conversation seemed to echo a deeper truth. This was not just about one shocking moment during an oath ceremony. It was about the very unity of the team moving forward, and whether they could overcome this difficult challenge and project strength in the coming months. As the night went on, it became evident that these conversations would set the tone for the days ahead. What had started as a historic day would soon become a pivotal moment in the Trump administration, one that would shape its early days and leave a lasting imprint on the political landscape. The conversations that followed the ceremony would be key in deciding whether they could regroup and reclaim their narrative, or whether the damage had already been done. The next moves would be critical, and the stakes had never been higher. The fallout from Donald Trump's shocking oath ceremony was swift and intense, with both the public and the media reacting in a manner that reflected the deep divisions exposed during the event. The aftermath was not just about the ceremony itself, but about what it symbolized for the future of the administration, its leadership, and its ability to unify a divided nation. As the cameras rolled and social media buzzed, the world watched, waiting for the next move from the new president and his team. Public reactions were a mix of shock, confusion, and anger. Social media platforms erupted with hashtags calling for accountability and questioning the authenticity of the ceremony. People who had supported Trump during the campaign now found themselves grappling with the spectacle that had unfolded before them. Some were disillusioned by the chaotic scene and felt betrayed by the very leader they had rallied behind. Others, particularly those on the opposite side of the political spectrum, seized the opportunity to criticize the lack of decorum and the lack of unity displayed during such a pivotal moment in American history. Television pundits and political commentators were quick to analyze and dissect the events. News outlets across the spectrum reported on the ceremony in starkly different ways, with conservative outlets attempting to spin the incident in a more favorable light, emphasizing the resilience of the president-elect and his team's ability to persevere in the face of adversity. On the other hand, liberal media outlets seized the opportunity to underscore the chaos, questioning Trump's leadership and highlighting the deep political rifts that were on full display. In some segments, experts pointed out the potential long-term damage the event could have on Trump's political image. The media criticized the lack of preparedness and the failure to keep the ceremony under control. Some even speculated whether this was a sign of a deeper dysfunction within the administration, one that might undermine its credibility going forward. This coverage only heightened the tension, and as the media delved deeper into the details of the ceremony, new layers of controversy began to emerge. Social media quickly became a battleground for political discourse, with users debating the true meaning of the event. Tweets, memes, and posts spread like wildfire, with some mocking the incident and others defending Trump's actions. The viral nature of the fallout only added fuel to the fire, with people on both sides of the political spectrum using the moment to voice their frustrations, fears, and hopes for the future. It was clear that the incident had ignited a conversation that would continue to dominate public discourse for days, if not weeks to come. Among the public's reactions, there were also calls for change and accountability. Some voiced their concerns over the apparent disorganization during the ceremony, while others worried about the impact this would have on the credibility of the new president. The public's trust, which had already been fragile, seemed to be shaken even further. People began to question not just the ceremony itself, but the competence of the leadership that had organized it. For many, this was seen as a microcosm of the broader concerns they had about the future of the Trump administration. In contrast, there were still pockets of Trump's base that continued to defend the ceremony, framing it as a testament to the president-elect's unconventional approach to politics. They saw the chaos as a challenge to the establishment, viewing it as a symbol of Trump's commitment to shaking up the political status quo. For them, the event was just another example of how Trump was not going to play by the rules and would take risks that others would shy away from. But despite the vocal support from his most loyal followers, the damage was done. The reaction from the media and public had set the stage for a narrative that Trump would struggle to control. The criticism from all sides began to mount, and as the media delved into every detail of the incident, it became clear that this was a moment that would not easily be forgotten. The fallout would last much longer than anyone anticipated, and the ripple effects would be felt across the political landscape in the weeks and months that followed. As the news cycle moved on, Trump and his team were left to pick up the pieces. The public had spoken, and now the question was whether they could recover from the damage to their image, or if this would become a defining moment that set the tone for a turbulent presidency. The aftermath of the shocking oath ceremony left both political and personal consequences that would reverberate throughout Donald Trump's presidency. Politically, the event fueled further divisions, with critics questioning his leadership and ability to unite the country. Public confidence in his administration seemed to falter, as many questioned the stability and organization of his team. His critics saw it as a sign of disarray, while his supporters, though still loyal, faced growing challenges in defending his actions. On a personal level, Trump's relationship with his inner circle and family was also tested. The chaos surrounding the ceremony highlighted underlying tensions and difficulties that would become more evident as the presidency unfolded. The public fallout forced Trump and his team to scramble for damage control, but the incident lingered in the public's mind, leaving a mark on the early days of his time in office. The long-term effects would depend on his ability to navigate these consequences, manage his image, and regain the trust of both his supporters and the broader public. The lasting legacy of the shocking oath ceremony became a defining moment in Donald Trump's presidency, shaping the narrative of his leadership for years to come. It was a symbol of the unpredictability and drama that would characterize his time in office. The incident not only sparked intense public debate, but also set the tone for his relationship with the media, the American people, and political allies. Despite the controversy, Trump's supporters viewed it as another display of his defiance against traditional norms, reinforcing his image as a disruptor. However, the lasting impact on his political legacy would be shaped by how he would handle subsequent crises and whether he could rise above the chaos that marked the beginning of his administration. This ceremony remained a moment of intense scrutiny and a pivotal moment in American political history.